Give me thy hands. Thus high by thy advice is King Richard seated. But shall we wear these glories for a day? Or shall they last and we rejoice in them?
Still live they and forever let them last.
Ah, cousin of Buckingham, now do try to be of current gold indeed. Young Edward lives. Think now what I would say.
Say on, my loving lord.
Why, Buckingham, I say I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice-renowned liege.
'Tis so, but Edward lives.
True, noble prince.
Oh, bitter consequence, that Edward still lives, noble prince. Cousin, thou wast not one to be so dull. Shall I be plain? I wish the bastard's dead, and I would have it performed suddenly. Speak suddenly, be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Thy kindness freezes, thou art all ice. Have I thy consent that they shall die?
Give me some little breath, some pause, dear lord, before I positively speak in this. I will resolve you herein presently.
The king is angry. See, he gnaws his lip.
I will converse with iron-witted fools and unrespective boys. Page!
My lord!
Knowest not whom any corrupting gold will tempt into a close exploitive death?
I know a discontented gentleman whose humble means match not his haughty spirit. Gold were as good as 20 others, and will no doubt tempt him to anything.
What is his name?
His name, my lord, is Tyrrell.
I partly know the man. Call him hither, page. No more will Buckingham be the neighbor to my consuls. So long he hath held out on me, untired, and stops he now for breath? Well, so be it. What news?
No, my loving lord, the Marquis d'Orsett is fled to Richmond in the parts where he abides.
Catesby, come hither. Rumored abroad that Anne, my wife, is grievous sick. I will keep order for her keeping close. Inquire me out some mean poor gentleman, who I may marry straight away to Clarence' daughter. The boy is foolish, and I fear not him. Look how thou dreamest! I say again, give out that Anne, my wife, is sick and like to die! About it, go! Oh, I am so far in blood that sin will pluck on sin. Pure toiling tear-falling pity dwells not in this eye. Is thy name Tyrrell?
James Tyrrell, and your most obedient subject.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, my most gracious lord.
Darest thou resolve to kill a friend of mine?
Please you, but I'd rather kill two enemies.
Ooh, there thou hast it. 2 enemies, and disturbers of my sweet sleep. Tyrrell, I mean those bastards in the tower.
Let me have open means to come by them, and I'll soon rid you from the fear of them.
Ooh, thou singest sweet music, Tyrrell. Come hither. Rise. Go by this token. And no more but saying so shall we. Say it is done, and I shall love thee and prefer thee for it.
I will dispatch it straight. My lord, I have considered in my mind the late request that you did sound me in.
Well, let it rest. Dorset has fled to Richmond.
I hear the news, my lord. My lord, I claim the gift, my due by promise, for which your honor and your faith is pawned. The earldom of Hereford and the movables which you have promised it I shall possess.
Stand and look to your wife. If she convey letters with Richmond, you shall answer it.
What says your highness to my just request?
I do remember me Henry VI did prophesy that Richmond should be king when Richmond was a little peevish brat, a king! Huh. Perhaps.
My lord,
How could chance not the prophet have told me, I being by, that I should kill Richmond?
my lord, your promise for the earldom.
Richmond, when last I was at Exeter, the Mary Kersey did show me the castle, and called it Rougemount, at which the name I startled, because a bard of Ireland told me once I should not live long after seeing Richmond.
My lord,
Aye, what's o'clock?
I am thus bold to put your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, what's o'clock?
Upon the stroke of 10.
Let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because like a jack thou keeps betwixt my meditation and my proceedings. I am not in the vein!
May it please you to resolve me in my suit.
Thou disturbest me! I am not in the vein!
And is it thus? Repays he my deep service with such contempt? Made I him king for this? Oh, let me think on Hastings and be gone to Brecknock, while my fearful head is on.
Who meets us here?
God give your graces both a happy and joyful time of day.
As much to you, good sister, whither away?
No farther than the tower, and as I guess upon the like devotion of yourselves, to gratulate the gentle princes there.
Kind sister, thanks. We'll enter all together. And in good time here the lieutenant comes. Master lieutenant, pray you, by your leave, how doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, dear madam, by your patience. I may not suffer you to visit them. The king has strictly charged the contrary.
The king? Who's that?
I mean the Lord Protector.
The Lord protect him from that kingly title. Hath he set bounds between their love and me? I am their mother. Who shall bar me from them?
I am their father's mother. I will see them.
Their aunt I am in law, in love their mother. Then take me to their sights. I'll bear thy blame and take thy office from thee on my peril.
No, madam, no. I may not leave it so. I am bound by oath, and therefore pardon me.
Let me but meet you ladies 1 hour hence, and I'll salute your grace of York as mother, and reverend looker on of two fair queens. Come, madam, you must straight to Westminster, there to be crowned Richard's royal queen. Ah, cut my lace asunder, that my pet heart may have some scope to beat, or else I swoon with this dead-killing news.
Oh, spiteful tidings, oh, unpleasant news.
Comfort, dear mother. How fares your grace?
Dorset, speak not to me. Get thee gone. Death and destruction dogs thee at thy heels. Thy mother's name is ominous to children. If thou wilt outstrip death, go cross the seas and live with Richmond from the reach of hell. Go, hide thee from this slaughterhouse, lest thou increase the number of the dead and make me die the thrall of Margaret's curse. Nor mother, wife, nor England's counted queen. Full of wise care is this your counsel, madam. You shall have letters from me to my sons in your behalf to meet you on the way. Be not ta'en tardy by unwise delay.
Oh, ill-dispersing wind of misery! Oh, my accursed womb, the bed of death, a cockatrice has so hatched to the world, whose unavoided eye is murderous!
Come, madam, come. I in all haste was sent.
And I with all unwillingness will go. Oh, would to God that the inclusive verge of golden metal that must round my brow were red-hot steel to sear me to the brains. Anointed let me be with deadly venom, and die ere men say, God save the queen.
Go, go, poor soul, I envy not thy glory. To feed my humor, wish thyself no harm.
No? Why? When he that is my husband now came to me as I followed Henry's corpse, but scarce the blood was well washed from his hands, which issued from my other angel husband, and that dear saint which I then weeping followed. Oh, when I looked on Richard's face, this was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed for making me so young, so old a widow, and when thou wedst, let sorrow haunt thy bed, and be thy wife, if any, so mad, more miserable by the life of thee that thou hast made me by my dear lord's death. Lo, ere I repeat this curse again, within so small a time my woman's heart grossly grew captive to his honeyed words, which proved the subject of mine own soul's curse. Hitherto hath held mine eyes from rest, for never yet 1 hour in his bed did I enjoy the golden dew of sleep, but with his timorous dreams was still awakened. He will no doubt shortly be rid of me.
Poor heart adieu. I pity thy complaining.
No more than I with my soul mourn for yours.
Farewell, thou woeful welcomer of glory.
Adieu, poor soul that takes thy leave of it.
Go thou to Richmond, and good fortune guide thee. Go thou to Richard, and good angels tend thee. Go thou to sanctuary, and good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and rest lie with me. 80-odd years of sorrow have I seen, and each hour's joy racked with the week of teen.
Stay, Yet look back with me unto the tower. Pity, you ancient stones, those tender babes whom envy hath immured within your walls. Rough cradle for such little pretty ones, rude ragged nurse, old sullen playfellow for tender princes. Use my babies well. So foolish sorrows bid your stones farewell.
Tyrannous and bloody act is done. The most arch deed of hideous massacre that ever this land was guilty of. Dighton and Forrest, who I did suborn to do this piece of ruthless butchery, albeit they were fleshed villains, bloody dogs, melted to tenderness and mild compassion, or blighted children in their deaths that story. Oh, thus, quoth Dighton, lay the gentle babes. Thus, quoth Forrest, girdling one another within their alabaster innocent arms. Their lips were 4 red roses on a stalk, and in their summer beauty kissed each other, above the prayers on their pillow lay, which once, quoth Forrest, almost changed my mind, but oh, the devil! There the villain stopped when Dighton thus told on. We smothered the most replenished, sweet worth of nature, the from the prime creation, ere she braved. And so the boats are gone with conscience and remorse. They could not speak, and so I left them both to bear these tidings to the bloody kin. And here he comes, all health, my sovereign lord.
Kind Tyrrell, am I happy in thy news?
If to have the thing done in which you gave me charge beget your happiness, be happy then, for it is done.
But didst thou see them dead?
I did, my lord.
And buried, gentle Tyrrell?
The chaplain of the tower hath buried them, but where, to say the truth, I do not know.
Come to me, Tyrrell, soon after supper, and thou shalt tell the process of their death. In meantime, think I may do thee good, and be the inheritor of thy desire. Farewell till then.
I humbly take my leave.
The son of Clarence have I pent up close. His daughter have I meanly matched in marriage. Oh, and my wife hath bid this world good night. For now I know that Richmond aims at my brother's daughter. And to her I go, the jolly thriving wooer.
My lord.
Oh! Good or bad news that thou comest in so bluntly?
Bad news, my lord. Morton is fled to Richmond, and Buckingham, backed with the hardy Welshman, is in the field and still his power increaseth.
Eli with Richmond troubles me more near than Buckingham in all his lash-revving strife. Go, muster men. My counsel is my shield. We must be brief when traitors brave the field.
So now prosperity begins to mellow and drop into the rotten mouth of death. Here in these confines slyly have I lurked, to watch the waning of mine enemies. A dire induction am I witness to, in will to France, hoping the consequence will prove as bitter, black, and tragical. Withdraw thee, wretched Margaret, who comes here?
Ah, my poor princes! Ah, my tender babes, my unblown flowers! You appearing sweets. If yet your gentle souls fly in the air and be not fixed in doom perpetual, hover about me with your airy wings, and hear your mother's lamentation.
Hover about her. Say that right fright hath dimmed her infant morn to aged night.
So many miseries have crazed my voice that my woe-weary tongue is still in mute. Edward Plantagenet, why art thou dead?
Plantagenet doth quit Plantagenet. Edward for Edward pays a dying debt.
Wilt thou, O God, fly from such gentle lambs and throw them in the entrails of the wolf? When didst thou sleep when such a deed was done?
When holy Harry died, and my sweet son.
Dead lifeline sight, poor mortal living ghost. Woe's seen, world's shame, graves due by life usurped. Brief abstract and record of tedious days, rest thy unrest on England's lawful earth, unlawfully made drunk with innocent blood.
Ah, that thou wouldst soon afford a grave, as thou canst yield a melancholy seat. And would I hide my bones, not rest them here? Ah, who hath any cause to mourn but we?
If ancient sorrow be most reverend, give mine the benefit of seniority, and let my griefs frown on the upper hand. If sorrow can admit society, tell over your woes again by viewing mine. I had a Edward, till a Richard killed him. I had a husband, till a Richard killed him. Thou hast a Edward, till a Richard killed him. Thou hast a Richard, till a Richard killed him.
I had a Richard too, and thou didst kill him. I had a Rutland too, thou hopest to kill him.
Thou hast a Clarence too, and Richard killed him. From forth the kennel of thy womb hath come to hellhound that doth hunt us all to death. That dog that had his teeth before his eyes, to worry lambs and lap their gentle blood. That foul defacer of God's handiwork, that excellent grand tyrant of the earth that reigns in gallant eyes of weeping souls, thy womb let loose to chase us to our graves. O upright, just, and true disposing God, how do I thank thee that this charnel cur preys on the issue of his mother's body, and makes her pew fellows with others moan?
Margaret! Margaret, tribe not in my woes. God witnesseth me, I have wept for thy.
Bear with me. I am hungry for revenge, and now I cloy me with beholding it. Thy Edward, he is dead that killed my Edward. The other Edward dead to quench my Edward. Young York, he is but boot, because both they match not the high perfection of my loss. And the beholders of this frantic play, the adulterate Hastings, Rivers, Vaughan, Ray, untimely smothered in their dusky graves. Richard yet lives, hell's black intelligencer, only reserve their facultative by souls and send them thither. But at hand ensues his piteous and unpiteous end. Earth gapes, hell burns, fiends war, saints pray to have him suddenly conveyed from hence. Cancel his bond of life, dear God, I pray, that I may live and say, the dog is dead!
Oh, thou didst prophesy the time would come that I would wish for thee to help me curse that bottled spider, that foul bunchbag toad!
I call thee then, vain flourish of my fortune. I call thee then, poor shadow-painted queen. The presentation of but what I was, the flattering index of a direful pageant, one heaved to high to be hurled down below. A mother only mocked with two fair babes. A dream of what thou wast, a garish flag. To be the aim of every dangerous shot, a sign of dignity, a breath, a bubble, a queen in jest only to fill the scene. Where is thy husband now? Where be thy brothers? Where be thy two sons? Wherein dost thou joy? Who sues and kneels and says, God save the queen? Where be the bending peers that flattered thee? Where be the thronging troops that followed thee? Decline all this, and see what thou art. For happy wife, a most distressed widow. For joyful mother, one that wails the name. For one being sued to, one that humbly sues. For queen, a very caitiff crowned with care. For she that scorned at me, now scorned of me. For she being feared of all, now fearing one. For she commanding all, obeyed of none. Thus hath the course of justice whirled about, and left thee but a very prey to time, having no more but thought of what thou wast, to torture thee the more, being what thou art. Thou didst usurp my place, and dost thou not usurp the just proportion of my sorrow? Now thy proud neck bears half my burdened yoke, from which even here I slip my weary head and leave the burden of it all on thee. Farewell, York's wife and queen of sad mischance, these English woes shall make me smile in France.
Oh, thou well skilled in curses, stay a while and teach me how to curse mine enemies.
Forbear to sleep the nights. Compare dead happiness with living woe. Think that thy babes were sweeter than they were, and he that slew them fouler than he is. Bettering thy loss makes the bad causer worse. Revolving this will teach thee how to curse.
My words are dull, oh quicken them with thine.
Thy words will make them sharp and pierce like a mine.
Why should calamity be full of words?
Windy attorneys to their clients' woes, airy succeeders of intestate joys, fore-breathing orators of misery. Let them have scope. Though what they will impart help nothing else, yet they do ease the heart.
If so, then be not tongue-tied. Go with me, and in the breath of bitter words, let's smother my damned son that thy two sweet sons smothered. I hear the drums. Be copious and exclaim.
To intercept me in my expedition.
Oh, she that might have intercepted thee by strangling thee in her accursed womb from all the slaughter's wretch that thou hast done.
Hidest thou that forehead with the golden crown, where should be branded, if right were right, the slaughter of the prince that owned the crown, and the dire death of my poor sons and brothers? Tell me, thou villain slave, where are my children?
Thou toad, where is thy brother Clarence, and little Ned Plantagenet his son?
Where is the gentle river, Vaughan and Gray?
Where is kind Hastings?
Strike alarms, drums! Strike alarms, drums! Let not heaven hear these telltale women rail on the Lord's anointed. Strike, I say! Either be patient and entreat me fair, or with the copious exclaims of war, I'll drown out thy exclamations.
Art thou my son?
Aye, I thank God, my father, and thyself.
Then patiently hear my impatience.
Madam, I have a touch of your condition, which cannot brook the accent of reproof.
Oh, let me speak!
Do then, but I'll not hear.
Hear me a word, for I shall never speak to thee again.
So,
That thou wilt die by God's just ordinance, ere from this war thou turn a conqueror, or I with grief and extreme age shall perish, and never more behold thy face again. Therefore take with thee my most grievous curse, which in the day of battle tire thee more than all the complete armor that thou wearest. My prayers on the adverse party fight, and there the little souls of Edward's children whisper the spirits of thine enemies, and promise them success and victory. Bloody thou art, bloody will be thy end. Shame serves thy life, and doth thy death attend.
Though far more cause, yet much less spirit to curse abides in me, I say amen to her.
stay, madam. I must talk a word with you.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for thee to slaughter.
We have a daughter, virtuous and fair.
And must she die for this? Oh, let her live, and I'll corrupt her manners, stain her beauty. I will confess she was not Edward's daughter.
Wrong not her birth, she is a royal
To
princess.
save her life, I'll say she is not so.
Her life is safest only in her birth.
And only in that safety died her brothers.
Speak as if I had slain my cousins.
Cousins indeed, and by their uncle cousin of comfort, kingdom, kindred, freedom, life. No doubt the murderous blade was dull and blunt till it was whetted on my stone hard heart to revel in the entrails of my lambs. I wish my nails were anchored in thine eyes.
Madam, so thrive I in my enterprise and dangerous success of bloody wars, as I intend more good to you and yours than ever you are harmed my work by me were harmed.
What good is covered with the face of heaven to be discovered that can do me good?
The advancement of your children,
Up to some scaffold there to lose their heads.
up into the height and dignity of fortune.
Tell me, what state, what dignity, what honor canst thou demise to any child of mine?
Know that from my heart, I do love thy daughter, and do intend to make her queen of England.
Well then, who dost thou mean shall be her king?
Even he that makes her queen, who else should be?
What? Thou?
Oh, how think you of it?
How canst thou woo her?
Oh, that, madam, I would learn of you, one being best acquainted with her humor.
And wilt thou learn of me?
Madam, with all my heart.
Send to her by the man that slew her brothers a pair of bleeding hearts, thereon engraved Edward and York, then haply will she weep. Therefore present to her, as sometimes Margaret did to thy father, steeped in Rookland's blood, a handkerchief, which say to her to drain the purple sap from her sweet brother's body, and bid her wipe her weeping eyes withal. If this inducement move her not to love, send her a letter of thy noble deeds. Tell her thou mayst away with her Uncle Clarence, her Uncle Rivers, I, and for her sake, make quick conveyance with her good Aunt Anne.
You mock me, madam! This is not the way to win your daughter!
There is no other way, unless thou could put on some other shape, and be not Richard that hath done all this.
Say I have done all this for love of her.
Nay, indeed, she cannot choose but hate thee, having bought love with such a bloody spoil.
Say I shall love her everlasting.
How long shall the title ever last?
Sweetly enforced until her fair life's end.
But how long fairly shall her sweet life last?
As long as heaven and nature lengthens it.
As long as hell and Richard likes of it.
Say I, her sovereign, am her subject low. I swear.
By nothing, for this is no oath. Swear then by something that thou hast not wronged.
Well then by myself.
Thyself is self-misused.
Now by the world.
'Tis full of thy foul wrongs.
My father's death!
Thy life hath it dishonored.
Why then by God!
God's wrong is most of all. If thou didst fear to break an oath with him, thy broken faith hath made thee prey for worms. What canst thou swear by now?
The time to come.
That thou hast wrong in a time o'erpast. Swear not by time to come, for that thou hast misused.
In thy daughter consists thine happiness and mine. Without her follows to myself and thee. Herself, the land, and many a Christian soul. It cannot be avoided but by this. It will not be avoided but by this. Therefore, dear mother, for I must call you so, be the attorney of my love to her. Tell her what I will be, not what I have been. Tell her what I will deserve, not what I have done.
Shall I be tempted of the devil thus?
Oh, aye. The devil tempts you to do good.
Yet thou didst kill my children.
But I'll bury them in your daughter's womb. Where in that nest of spicery, they will breathe selves of themselves to your recomforture.
Shall I go win my daughter to thy will?
Go and be a happy mother in thy deed.
Go. Write to me very shortly, and you shall understand from me her mind.
Bear her my true love's kiss. Farewell, brother. Shallow, relenting fool, and changing woman! Oh, now, what news?
Most mighty sovereign, on the western coast rideth a puissant navy. To our shores throng many doubtful, hollow-hearted friends, unarmed and unresolved to beat them back. 'Tis thought that Richmond is their admiral, and there they hull, expecting but the aid of Buckingham to welcome them ashore.
Some light foot friend, post the Duke of Norfolk. Ratcliffe, thyself, or Catesby, where is he?
Here, my good lord.
Catesby, fly to the Duke.
I will, my lord, with all convenient haste.
Ratcliffe. Dull, unmindful villain! Why standst thou not fly to the Duke?
First, mighty liege, tell me your highness's pleasure.
Bid him bring his power.
I will, my lord.
What may it please you shall I do at Salisbury?
Why? What wouldst thou do there before I go?
Your Highness told me I should post before.
My mind has changed. And now, Lord Stanley, what news?
None good, thy liege, to please you with the hearing, nor none so bad that well may be reported.
Hoy day, O riddle, neither good nor bad. Why needst thou run so many miles about when thou may tell me the nearest way? What's more, what news?
Richmond is on the sea.
Now then let him sink and be the seas upon him. White-livered renegade, what doth he there?
I know not, mighty sovereign, but by guess.
Well, as you guessed.
Stirred up by Dorset, Buckingham, and Morton, he makes for England to claim the crown.
Is the chair empty? The sword unswayed? The empire unpossessed, the king dead? And what heirs there of York's alive but we? Thou revolt and fly to him, I fear.
No, my good lord, therefore mistrust me not.
Where be thy tenants and thy followers? Where be thy power to beat him back? Are they now not upon the western shore, safe conducting the rebels from their ships?
No, my good lord, my friends are in the north.
Oh, cold friends to me they are. What doth they in the north when they should serve their sovereign in the west?
They have not been commanded, mighty king. Pleaseth your majesty to give me leave. I'll muster up my friends and meet your grace where and what time your majesty shall please.
Aye. And thou wouldst be gone to join with Richmond. Oh, but I'll not trust thee.
Most mighty sovereign, you have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful. I never was, nor never will be false.
Go then and muster men. But leave behind your son, George Stanley. Look that your heart be firm, or else his head's assurance is but frail.
So deal with him as I proved true to you.
My gracious sovereign, now in Devonshire, Sir Edward Courtney and the haughty prelate, Bishop of Exeter, his elder brother, and many more confederates are in arms.
In Kent, my lord, the Guildfords are in arms, and every hour more competitors flock to the rebels, and their power grows strong.
My lord, the army of Buckingham.
Out on ye owls! Nothing but songs of death? Thou take that till they'll bring better news!
The news I have to tell your majesty is that by sudden flood and fall of water, Buckingham's armies dispersed and scattered, and he himself wandered away alone. No man knows whither.
I cry thee mercy then. Hath any well-advised friend proclaimed reward to him that brings the traitor in?
Such proclamation hath been made.
Sir Thomas Lovell and Lord Marquis Dorset to set my liege in Yorkshire are in arms, but this good comfort bring I to your highness. The Breton navy is dispersed by tempest. Richmond and Dorsetshire hath had a boat to ask those on the shores of the air his assistance, ye or no, who answered him came from Buckingham upon his party. He mistrusting them hoist sail and made his course again for Breton.
March on, since we are up in arms. If not to fight with foreign enemies, then to beat down rebels here at home.
My liege, the Duke of Buckingham is taken. That is the best news. That the Earl of Richmond is with a mighty power landed at Milford is colder tidings, but they must be told.
Away towards Salisbury then. While we reason here, our royal battle might be won and lost. Everyone, march on with me!
Sir Christopher, tell Richmond this for me, that in the sty of the most deadly boar, my son, George Stanley, is franked up and hold. If I revolt, I'll goze on George's head. The fear of that holds off my present aid. So get thee gone, commend me to thy lord. Withal, say that the queen hath hurriedly consented he should espouse Elizabeth her daughter. But tell me, where is the princely Richmond now?
At Pembroke, or at Harvard-Weston Way.
What men of name report to him?
Sir Walter Herbert, a renowned soldier. Sir Gilbert Talbot, Sir William Stanley, Oxford, redoubted Pembroke. Sir James Blunt, and a rise of Thomas with a valiant crew. And many other great names in birth. And towards London, do they bend their power? If by the way they be not fought withal.
Well, hie thee to thy lord. I kiss his hand. My letter will resolve him of my mind. Farewell.
Will not King Richard let me speak with him?
No, my lord, therefore be patient.
Hastings and Edward's children, Ray and Rivers, holy King Henry and thy fair son Edward, fond in all that have miscarried by underhand corrupted foul injustice, if that your moody discontented souls do through the clouds behold this present hour, even for revenge mark my destruction. This is All Souls' Day, fellow, is it not?
It is, my lord.
Why then, All Souls' Day is my body's doomsday. This is the day which in King Edward's time I wished might fall on me, when I was found false to his children and his wife's allies. This is the day wherein I wish to fall by the false faith of him whom most I trusted. This All Souls' Day to my fearful soul is the determined respite of my wrongs, That high all-seer which I dallied with hath turned my feigned prayer on my head, and given in earnest what I begged in jest. Thus doth he force the swords of wicked men to turn their own points in their masters' bosoms. Thus Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck. When he, quoth she, shall split thy heart with sorrow, remember, Margaret was a prophetess. Come, lead me, officer, to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of blame.
Fellows in arms, and my most loving friends, bruised underneath the yoke of tyranny, thus far into the bowels of the land have we marched on without impediment. And here see we from our father's standing lines of fair comfort and encouragement. The wretched, bloody, and usurping boar that spoiled your summer fields and fruitful vines swills your warm blood like wash, and makes his trough in your emboweled bosoms. This foul swine is now even in the century of this isle. In God's name, cheerly on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace by this one bloody trial and sharp war.
Every man's conscience is 1,000 men. Fight against is guilty homicide.
I doubt not, but his friends will turn to us.
He hath no friends, but only friends from fear, which in his dearest need will fly from him.
All for our advantage. Then in God's name march. True hope is swift, and flies as swallow's wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings.
Here pitch our tent, even here at Bosworth Field. My lord of Surrey, why look you so sad?
My heart is 10 times lighter than my looks.
My Duke of Norfolk.
Here, my lord.
Norfolk. We must have knocks, ha, must we not?
We must but give and take, my loving lord.
Up with my tent! Here I will lie tonight. But where tomorrow? Well, all's one for that. Who hath described the number of the traitors?
6,000 or 7,000 is our utmost power.
Why, our battalion trembles that account! Besides, the king's name is a pillar of strength, one which they upon the adverse faction want. The lords, let's lack no discipline, make no delay, for tomorrow is a busy day.
The weary sun hath made a golden set, and by the bright track of his fiery car gives token of a goodly day tomorrow. Sir William Brandon, you shall bear my standard. Give me some ink and paper in my tent. I'll draw the form and model of our battle. Limit each leader to his settled charge, and part in just proportion our small power. My Lord of Oxford, you, Sir William Brandon, and you, Sir Walter Herbert, will fight with me. The Earl of Pembroke keeps his regiment. Good Captain Blunt, bear my good night to him, and by the second hour in the morning desire the Earl to see me in my tent. Yet one thing more, good Captain, do for me. Where is Lord Stanley quartered? Do you know?
Unless I have misstained his colors much, which well I am assured I have not done, his regiment lies half a mile at least south from the mighty power of the king.
If without peril be it possible, sweet blood, make some good means to speak with him, and give him for me this most needful note.
Upon my life, my lord, I'll undertake it, and so God give you quiet rest tonight.
Good night, good Captain Blunt. Come, gentlemen, let us consult upon tomorrow's business. Into my tent, the dew is raw and cold.
What's o'clock?
It's supper time, my lord. It's 9 o'clock.
I will not sup tonight. Bring me ink and paper. Send out a pursuivant at arms. Stanley's regiment. Bid him bring his power before sunrising, lest his son George fall into the blinding cave of eternal night. Fill me a bowl of wine. Ratcliffe.
My lord?
About the mid of night, come to my tent. Help to arm me. Leave me. Leave me, I say!
Fortune and victory sit on thy helm. I'll comfort that the dark night can afford be to thy person, noble father-in-law. Tell me, how fares thy loving mother? I by eternity bless thy mother, who prays continually for Richmond's good. So much for that. The silent hours steal on, and the flaky darkness breaks within the east. In brief, for the season bids us be, prepare thy battle early in the morning, and put thy fortune to the embitterment of bloody strokes and mortal staring war. Once more, adieu. Be valiant and Godspeed.
Good lords, conduct him to his regiment. I'll strive with troubled thoughts to take a nap. Thus let in slumber pease me down tomorrow, when I should mount with wings of victory. Once more, good night, my noble gentlemen. O thou whose captain I account myself, look on my forces with a gracious eye. Put in their hands thy bruising irons of wrath, that they may crush down with a heavy fall the usurping helmets of our adversaries. Make us thy ministers of chastisement, that we may praise thee in the victory. To thee I do command my watchful soul, ere I let fall the windows of mine eyes. Sleeping and waking, O defend me still.
Let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow. Rivers that died and comfort, despair and die.
Think upon gray and let thy soul despair.
Think upon Vaughn, and with guilty fear, let fall thy lance, despair and die.
Despair
and die.
Awake and think our wrongs in Richard's bosom will conquer him. Awake and win the day.
Let me sit heavy on thy soul tomorrow, I that was washed to death with fulsome wine. Oh, poor Clarence, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow on the battlefield think on me, and for thy edgeless sword, despair and die.
Despair and die.
Thou offspring of the house of Lancaster, the wronged heirs of York do pray for thee. Good angels guard thy battle. Live and flourish.
When I was mortal, my body by thee was punctured full of deadly holes. Think on the tower and me. Despair and die. King Edward bid thee despair and die.
Despair and die.
Virtuous and holy, be thou conqueror. Harry, that prophesied thou shouldst be king, doth comfort thee in thy sleep. Live and flourish.
Bloody and guilty, guiltily awake, and in a bloody battle end thy days. Think on Lord Hastings, despair and die.
Despair and die.
Quiet, untroubled soul, awake, awake, arm, fight, and conquer, for fair England's sake.
Dream on thy cousin's mother in the tower, lest be led within thy bosom, Richard, and weigh thee down to ruin, shame, and death. Thy nephew's souls do bid thee despair and die.
Despair and die.
Sleep, Richmond, sleep in peace and wake in joy. Good angels guard thee from the boars annoy. Live and beget a happy race of kings, but Edward's unhappy sons do bid thee flourish.
Richard, thy wife, that wretched Anne, thy wife that never slept a quiet hour with thee, now fills thy sleep with perturbations. Tomorrow in the battle think on me and fall thy edgeless sword, despair and die.
Despair and die.
Thou quiet soul, sleep thou a quiet sleep. Dream of success and happy victory. Thy adversary's wife doth pray for thee. The first was I that helped thee to the crown. The last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle think on Buckingham, and die in terror of thy guiltiness. Dream on of bloody deeds and death. Fainting despair, despairing yield thy breath. I died for hope ere I could lend thee aid. But cheer thou heart, and be thou not dismayed. God and good angels fight on Richmond's side, and Richard falls in height of all his pride.
Give me another horse! Mind up my words of mercy, haste! Soft, I did but dream. Cold coward conscience, how dost thou afflict me? The lights burn blue. It's now dead of night. What do I fear? Myself? There's none else by. Richard loves Richard. That is I and I. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. Then fly. What, for myself? Great reason why, lest I revenge. Oh, what? Myself upon myself? Oh, alas, I love myself. Wherefore? For any good that I myself have done unto myself? Alas, I rather hate myself, for hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain! No creature loves me! And if I die, no soul will pity me. Wherefore should they? Since that I myself can find unto myself no pity to myself. Methoughts the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent, and tomorrow did threat vengeance on the head of Richard.
My lord.
Ah, sound is that!
Ratcliffe, my lord, 'tis I. The early village cock hath twice sent salutations in the morn. Your friends are up and buckled on their armor.
O Ratcliffe, I have dreamed a fearful dream. What dost thou think? Will our friends prove all true?
No doubt, my lord.
O Ratcliffe, I fear.
Nay, good my lord, be not afraid of shadows.
My shadows tonight have struck more fear into me than can the substance of 10,000 soldiers, read by that paltry Richmond. Come, it is not yet near day. Go with me. Under the tents I'll play the eavesdropper, to see if any mean to shrink from me.
Good morrow, Richmond.
Cry mercy, lords and watchful gentlemen, that you obtain a tardy slumber here.
How have you slept, my lord?
The sweetest sleep and fairest sporting dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head have I since your departure had, my lords. Methought, their souls whose bodies Richard murdered came to my tent and cried on victory. I promise you my soul is very joke in remembrance of so fair a dream. How far into the morning is it, lords?
Upon the stroke of 4.
Why, that is time to arm and give direction. More than I have said, loving countrymen, the leisure and enforcement of our time forbids to dwell upon. And remember this, God and our good cause fight upon our side. Richard accept, those who we fight against had rather have us win than him they follow. For what is he they follow? Truly, gentlemen, a bloody tyrant and a homicide. One race in blood, one in blood established it. One that made means to come by what he had, then slaughtered those that were the means to help him. A base, foul stone made precious by the foil of England's chair, but he is falsely set. Then if you fight against God's enemies, God will in justice warn you as his soldiers. If you do sweat to put a tyrant down, you sleep in peace, the tyrant being slain. If you do fight against your country's foes, your country's fat shall pay the pains the higher. If you do fight in safeguard of your wives shall welcome home the conquerors. If you do free our children from the sword, your children's children quitted in your age. Then in the name of God and all his rights, unbend your standards! Draw your willing swords! Sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully! God and St. George! Richmond and victory!
What said Northumberland as touching Richmond?
That he was never trained up in arms.
He said the truth. And what said Surrey then?
He smiled and said, the better for our purpose.
He was in the right, and so indeed it is. Black day will it be to somebody. Ratcliffe!
My lord?
The sun will not be seen today. The sky doth frown and lower upon our army. Not shine today. I wish these dewy tears were from the ground. What more is it to me than to Richmond? For the self-same heaven that frowns upon us looks sadly upon him.
Arm, my lord, the foe vaunts the field.
Come, bustle, bustle, comparison my horse. Call up Lord Stanley, bid him bring his power. I will lead forth my soldiers to the plain, and thus my battle shall be ordered. My front shall be drawn out in all length, consisting equally of horse and foot. In the main battle, whose pursuance on either side shall be whelming with our chiefest horse, this and St. George to boot. What thinkest thou, Norfolk?
A good direction, warlike sovereign. This found I on my tent this morning. Jockey of Norfolk, be not so bold, for Richard thy master is bought and sold.
A thing devised by the enemy. Go every man unto his charge. Let not our babbling dreams affright our souls. Conscience is but a word that cowards use, a thing devised at first to keep the strong in awe. Conscience be our law, our strong arms! March on, join bravely. Let us set to pell-mell. If not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell! What shall I say more than I have inferred? Remember to whom you are to cope withal. A sort of vagabonds, rascals and runaways, the scum of the Bretons and base lackey peasants, whom their o'ercloyed country vomits forth to desperate adventures and assured destruction. And who doth lead them but paltry Richmond, long kept in Bretagne at our mother's cost? A milksop, one who never in his life felt so much cold as over shoes and snow. If we be thee, let men conquer us, and not these bastard Bretons, whom our fathers have in their own land beaten, bombed, and thumped, and in record left them the heirs of shame. Shall these lie our lands, enjoy our wives, ravish our daughters? Hark, I hear their drum. Fight, gentlemen of England, fight, ye old bowmen! Draw, archers, draw arrows to your head! Spur your proud horses hard, and ride in blood! Amaze the Wilkin with your broken stabs! What says Lord Stanley? Will he bring his power?
My lord, doth tonight come?
Off with the son George's head!
My lord, the foe is past the march. After the battle, let George Stanley die.
1,000 hearts are great within my bosom. Advance our standards set upon our foes. Our ancient word of courage bears St. George. Come, let us go. Victory sits in our hands!
Lord Bearers, Sir Robert Brackenbury and Sir William Brandon.
Inter their bodies as become their births. Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled that in submission will return to us. And then, as we obtain the sacrament, we will unite the white rose and the red. Smile heaven upon this fair conjunction that long hath frowned upon their enmity. What traitor hears me and says not amen? England hath long been mad and scarred herself. The brother blindly shed the brother's blood. The father rashly slaughtered his own son. The son compelled been butchered to the sire. All this divided York and Lancaster, divided in their dire division. Oh, now let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, by God's